Most people never even reach the real test. They surrender long before life begins to test their strength, not because the world is cruel, but because their minds are unguarded. They let emotions lead. They let opinions rewrite their worth. They let fear sit on the throne that should be theirs. And when pressure comes, they break, not loudly but silently, inside the very walls they never learned to defend. The weak chase peace by pleasing others. The strong create peace by mastering themselves. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He warned that power begins with inner rule. To him, the mind was a kingdom, and every thought a soldier waiting for command. Rule it, or it will betray you. Every insult, every betrayal, every failure is not sent to destroy you, but to expose how little control you truly have. Being untouchable doesn't happen overnight. It's built through silence, discipline, and precision. You don't wake up fearless. You train your mind until fear obeys. So ask yourself now, who commands your mind, you or the world whispering inside it? Because in a world built on noise, control is not luxury, it's survival. Number 1, control the narrative. Power begins in perception. Power doesn't begin with truth. It begins with perception. The way others see you decides how they treat you, trust you, and fear you. You can be brilliant, honest, loyal, but if they perceive weakness, you'll be treated like prey. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for all can see, but few can feel. He understood this centuries ago. The world reacts to appearances, not intentions. Control how you are seen, and you control the story the world tells about you. Most people don't realize this. They think truth will protect them. It won't. Truth whispers. Perception shouts. A lie told with confidence will travel farther than truth spoken with doubt. And in a world ruled by noise, image becomes law. Look around you. In every company, the one promoted isn't the most capable. It's the most composed. In every relationship, the one desired most isn't the kindest. It's the least predictable. People don't follow sincerity. They follow presence. Because power is psychological. Before they believe you, they feel you. Calmness feels like control. Certainty feels like truth. And silence feels like dominance. A real example. In a meeting, everyone argues, defending themselves. One person stays silent, observing. Minutes later, when they finally speak, the room listens. Not because of what they said, but because they didn't need to say it. That is the law of presence. The less you reveal, the more they imagine. The more they imagine, the more power you hold. Every word you speak either builds your image or breaks it. Every emotional reaction gives someone the map to your control room. And every explanation is a confession that you've lost command of perception. Stop trying to be understood. Start becoming unreadable, because the one who defines the frame controls the reality inside it. Appear calm when others panic. Look steady when others shake. Never explain your value. Demonstrate it. You don't need validation. You need direction. And when people can't read you, they'll respect you. Machiavelli said, "The one who controls perception controls the world." So, from this moment forward, rule your image with the same discipline you'd use to guard your secrets. Let your silence speak. Let your stillness unsettle. And when they try to label you, rewrite the label through your results. Drop this in the comments. I define the story. I control perception. Number 2, detach from emotion. When you control reaction, you control the world. Emotion is the cheapest weapon in existence. No one needs to attack you with force. They only need to make you react. Anger, fear, jealousy. Each one is a string they pull to make you dance. And the moment you react, you obey. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He wrote that the wise act with reason, while the fool acts with impulse. He wasn't condemning emotion, he was commanding it. Because emotion is energy. Uncontrolled, it burns you. Directed, it builds empires. The calm man sees patterns. The reactive man sees enemies. When someone provokes you and you stay still, they lose control, not you. Your silence becomes their mirror. Their own chaos reflects back at them. Think of your last argument, the one where you raised your voice. You didn't win. You leaked energy. Now imagine staying silent, watching, breathing, saying nothing. That silence would have unsettled them more than any scream. This is emotional discipline, the art of remaining the observer. You are not your anger. You are the one who decides when it's useful. Detachment is not coldness. It's power disguised as peace. It means I feel everything, but nothing rules me. The world manipulates through triggers. A comment online, a rumor, a look of disrespect. They all aim for one thing, your reaction, because your reaction gives away your weakness. So you must train the pause. 5 seconds before you speak, 5 seconds before you move. That pause is the border between victim and ruler. When you master it, you own time. You slow chaos down until it kneels. Machiavelli said a leader must learn when not to be kind. He meant when emotion threatens strategy, cut it off. If anger serves your goal, use it. If it weakens your stance, bury it. Every emotion must serve you, never the other way around. This is how you become unreadable. The one who smiles when insulted. The one who stays still when attacked. The one who never shows the storm inside. Because mystery creates fear, and fear keeps power intact. Detach from emotion not to escape humanity, but to master it. Once you stop reacting to everything, life becomes quiet. And in that quiet, you hear the voice of control. I feel everything, but nothing controls me. Number 3, expect betrayal. Trust strategy, not sympathy. Betrayal is not an accident. It's a law of human nature. People change loyalty the moment it stops serving them. That's not evil, that's survival. Machiavelli warned, men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous. He didn't say that with hatred. He said it with precision. He observed the world as it is, not as it should be. Most people suffer because they expect loyalty in a world built on advantage. They confuse emotion with alliance and kindness with safety. But loyalty has an expiration date, and it ends the moment interests shift. The Machiavellian mind never fears betrayal. It anticipates it. It designs structures that still function when trust breaks. Because when your stability depends on others, you've already lost control. Remember this. The promise made today is only valid while it benefits the giver. When that benefit ends, so does devotion. You can't hate people for this. You can only prepare. Trust systems, not sympathy. Build networks that reward reliability, not affection. A strategist doesn't rely on loyalty. He relies on alignment. When interests align, alliances last. When they don't, no oath will save you. Most people call this cynicism. It's not. It's realism, sharpened into clarity. Think of history. Every empire fell from within, not because of its enemies, but because of betrayal disguised as friendship. Rome collapsed not when attacked, but when men inside its walls stopped believing in Rome. It's the same today. The business partner who promised forever leaves when profit fades. The lover who swore loyalty drifts when desire shifts. The friend who vowed support disappears when envy grows. And yet, the wise never break over betrayal. They record it, they analyze it, they adapt. Machiavelli once said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." In other words, people are loyal to what serves them, not to what saved them. Once you accept that, you stop being naive. You stop waiting for fairness. You start designing for failure. You build structures that don't collapse when trust does. You create distance between emotion and decision. You protect your peace from dependency. A practical example: imagine you lead a team. One member flatters you daily. Another challenges you silently but delivers results. The first seeks comfort. The second respects order. When pressure hits, the flatterer runs. The challenger endures. That's the Machiavellian test. Judge people by consistency, not affection. Do not despise betrayal, use it. Each betrayal teaches you two things: who values advantage and who values integrity. Both are useful, but you must know which is which. Because the one who betrays you for gain will do it again, and the one who stays through loss deserves protection. But even then, remain detached. Even loyalty must be tested through time and distance. A wise ruler keeps allies close, but never essential. He builds systems that replace any man, and trust that depends on no single soul. That's not heartless, that's sustainable. You can care deeply and still remain strategic. You can love and still stay alert. You can forgive, but never forget patterns. People repeat themselves. The kind lie once, the selfish lie always, the ambitious lie when opportunity whispers. Your job isn't to judge, it's to anticipate, because the mind that foresees betrayal never kneels to it. Betrayal hurts only when it surprises you. When you expect it, it becomes data, not disaster. Machiavelli believed foresight is the purest form of power. He wrote, "The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger," meaning, guard your peace with preparation, not hope. Stop trusting emotion. Emotion is loyal only to the moment. Trust patterns. Trust incentives. Trust the structure that remains when the mask falls. Detach from blind trust, not to lose faith in humanity, but to free yourself from illusions. When you understand betrayal as a natural movement of human self-interest, you stop personalizing it. You stop bleeding for those who were never yours. That's when clarity replaces pain. You start seeing through manipulation. You start recognizing the same script in every liar's voice. You start smiling, not because you don't care, but because you already knew how the story would end. The Machiavellian mind never hates betrayal. It studies it, because each betrayal refines your map of human nature. Who can be trusted, who must be watched, and who must be replaced. Understand this truth. You don't build walls around your heart. You build gates, and you decide who passes through them. Even then, never give anyone the power to destroy your peace, because when peace depends on others, they own you. True control is independence, emotional, financial, and psychological. The one who stands alone cannot be betrayed, only disappointed. And disappointment, unlike betrayal, doesn't break you, it educates you. I trust patterns, not promises. Number 4, appear calm, think cold. The psychology of dominance. Calmness is not kindness. It's control. In a chaotic world, stillness is the loudest signal of power, because nothing terrifies the unstable more than someone they cannot shake. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good, not to become cruel, but to stay rational when emotion demands reaction. He saw calmness as a form of psychological warfare. When others panic and you remain composed, you project superiority without a word. People expect noise from power, but true power is quiet. It breathes slowly, it moves deliberately, it waits and watches. The calm mind sees what chaos hides. While others drown in emotion, you observe patterns. While they shout to be heard, you gather information. Control of perception begins inside. If your mind shakes, your mask cracks. And once your calm breaks, your enemies can see where to strike. The wise never give that satisfaction. Imagine this. Two people face the same insult. One explodes, losing words, image, and control. The other looks at the offender and smiles. That smile burns deeper than anger ever could, because silence implies dominance and calmness implies danger. When people can't read you, they overthink you. They fill the silence with their own fear. That's how control works. You let them trap themselves inside their imagination of you. Calmness bends the battlefield. In every conflict, the loud one reveals his emotions first, and the first to reveal emotion loses. So train yourself to move slow in chaos. Lower your voice when others raise theirs. Hold your posture when others crumble, because the mind that can remain still in fire becomes untouchable. Machiavelli compared the ruler to a lion and a fox. The lion frightens wolves. The fox avoids traps. To master both, you must have the calm of a fox and the patience of a lion waiting to strike. You don't need to be good all the time. You need to be in control at all times. That's the difference between reputation and rule. Reputation reacts, rule directs. In modern life, this law still rules. At work, people who panic under pressure lose trust. In relationships, those who overreact lose respect. On social media, those who explain too much lose mystery. Calmness, therefore, is not weakness. It's composure weaponized. Your stillness makes impulsive people uncomfortable. Your patience exposes their lack of discipline. Your quiet confidence makes them doubt their own. It's not arrogance, it's balance. You refuse to match chaos with chaos. You force the world to move at your pace. That's what makes calmness divine. Most people want to appear powerful. The Machiavellian wants to be powerful, and real power is invisible, because it doesn't need validation. When you act from emotion, you give away your command. When you act from calm, you dictate the rhythm of reality. So next time the world provokes you, pause. Ask, does reacting help me win? If the answer is no, remain still. Stillness unsettles the manipulator. It drains the aggressor. It makes people expose themselves because they can't stand the mirror of your control. That's how you lead without speaking. That's how you dominate without fighting. Every gesture, every breath, every pause becomes a message. You're not avoiding battle, you're mastering it. Calmness is not the absence of emotion, it's the dominance of it. Because when you can feel rage and still speak with reason, you are no longer human, you are strategic. People won't understand your silence. They'll call it arrogance, they'll call it detachment. But deep down, they'll feel something else, fear. And that fear is respect in disguise. Appear calm, think cold, because the man who reacts last controls the story first. Your tone, your pace, your presence, all of them are armor. Guard them as you would guard your secrets. In this age of noise, the one who can stay silent has already won. My calmness is my power. My silence is my weapon. Number 5. Keep power in silence. The art of strategic mystery. Silence is not emptiness, it's control. In its purest form, every word you speak is a seed. Some grow into respect, most grow into exposure. The more you talk, the more you reveal. And once people can read you, they can predict you. Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. He called silence a weapon sharper than a blade, because what's invisible can't be defended against. You can block a sword, but not uncertainty. Silence makes others uncomfortable. They mistake it for weakness until it devours them. The loud ones want attention. The wise want control. When you speak less, you force others to imagine more. And imagination, once triggered, creates fear. People fear what they can't define. They fear the quiet one who listens but never reacts. Because they know the silent mind is the one still calculating. In every conversation, there's a battle for control. The one who speaks first seeks approval. The one who listens owns direction. Most people expose themselves through speech. They explain too much, they justify, they confess. And in doing so, they hand their opponent the map to their emotions. Power never explains, it demonstrates, and when it doesn't need to, it stays silent. You see this everywhere. A calm man in a room full of talkers becomes magnetic. Everyone studies him, wondering what he's thinking. His stillness creates gravity, because silence demands attention louder than noise. Machiavelli wrote, "Never was anything great achieved without danger." He understood that silence carries risk, the risk of being misunderstood. But he also knew being misunderstood is better than being predictable. When people can't define you, they can't control you. That's why silence isn't weakness. It's the art of creating confusion on your terms. In arguments, it makes others reveal themselves. In negotiations, it exposes desperation. In relationships, it creates respect. Because silence bends time. It slows down chaos until others collapse under their own noise. The manipulator loses when you refuse to react. The narcissist loses when you don't explain. The world loses control the moment you stop needing to prove yourself. This is why silence must be practiced like a skill. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of discipline. When provoked, don't respond. When questioned, don't explain. When doubted, let results speak. Each moment you withhold a reaction, you increase your perceived value, because people equate mystery with strength. The less they know, the more they imagine. The more they imagine, the more power you hold. Think of it like this. A sword that never leaves its sheath is feared more than one constantly swinging. Why? Because the unknown carries infinite potential. That's what your silence must become. A presence that commands without effort. In the digital age, where everyone shouts to be seen, your quietness becomes rebellion. While they scream for validation, you sit back, observing, calculating, planning. And when you finally speak, your words land like verdicts. The quiet one always controls the rhythm, because others fill silence with their insecurities. They start explaining, confessing, justifying, while you remain still, collecting data. That's why the greatest power isn't to speak, it's to make others speak too much. Machiavelli believed the ruler's strength was not in showing his cards, but in making others reveal theirs first. He said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That's the foundation of mystery. You control what they see and protect what they'll never touch. In silence, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds respect. People can attack your words, but not your stillness. So practice restraint. Don't fill silence. Let others drown in it. Don't rush to correct lies. Let them expose themselves. Don't chase explanations. Let your absence question louder than defense. Power is not proven through volume. It's proven through presence. You don't have to be the smartest in the room, just the quietest one who knows everything. Over time, your silence becomes legend. People talk about you when you're not there. They analyze your pauses. They interpret your tone. They fear your stillness. That's when you've won, because you no longer need to shout to be heard. You've mastered the art of being felt. My silence speaks power. Number 6, master the art of absence. Distance creates power. Presence loses value when it becomes constant. The more accessible you are, the less you are respected. Machiavelli knew this long before social media. He wrote, "A prince must learn how not to be too easily approached, because familiarity breeds contempt, and scarcity breeds power. The world worships what it can't have. It desires what disappears. It remembers what is gone. When you are always available, you become background noise. When you withdraw, you become an echo, and echoes last longer than voices. Absence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's how you remind the world that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. The Machiavellian doesn't seek attention. He controls it. He knows that every appearance must serve a purpose, and every disappearance must create tension. Because power thrives in mystery, and mystery needs space to breathe. Think about it. The artist who appears once a year is worshipped. The one who posts daily is forgotten. The leader who speaks rarely is obeyed. The one who always explains is ignored. Absence magnifies value. It forces others to fill the void with their imagination. And imagination, once ignited, is far more powerful than presence. When you disappear, people start to think, where did he go? What is she planning? Did we do something wrong? That's the silent control of distance. You make others chase your shadow. Machiavelli observed this in every court of power. The ruler who was seen too often became common. The ruler who appeared rarely became sacred. Scarcity doesn't just increase desire, it creates hierarchy, because the fewer your appearances, the higher your perceived worth. To master absence, you must learn timing. Disappear too long, they forget. Disappear too little, they take you for granted. The art lies in rhythm, presence that sparks attention, followed by silence that breeds obsession. In modern life, most people fear being forgotten, so they chase visibility, beg for relevance, drown in constant exposure. But the wise do the opposite. They withdraw deliberately, because they know relevance without rarity is cheap. Even in love, absence rules desire. The one who's always available loses mystery. The one who disappears without warning haunts the mind. Their silence becomes a language, their distance an illusion of depth. In leadership, the same law applies. The more often you speak, the less weight your words carry. But when you speak rarely, people listen differently. They sense purpose. They lean in. Because silence before speech creates anticipation. Anticipation is control. That's why every strategist, every ruler, every thinker, every artist must master retreat. It's not running away. It's reloading. Absence gives you perspective. It cleans the noise, sharpens your perception, and restores your mystery. When you vanish, you remind the world that your time has value. You teach people that your energy is limited, and therefore sacred. Machiavelli would call this the economy of presence. He knew that even influence must be rationed to maintain impact. The world burns fast today. Trends live and die in hours. But timelessness is built on restraint. You must resist the urge to be seen, and instead choose to be remembered. Absence also reveals loyalty. When you disappear, those who remain are real. Those who drift were never yours. Distance is the fire that burns away false devotion. So use it, withdraw strategically, leave space between appearances, allow mystery to do your talking, because the one who controls absence controls longing, and longing is one of the purest forms of power. Remember this, your value is not proven by how often you're seen. It's proven by what happens when you're gone. If the room feels emptier, you've built power. If the world moves on without pause, you've built noise. Choose the first. Become the presence that lingers, the shadow that outlasts the light. Machiavelli said, "Men are driven by two forces, love and fear. Absence creates both. Those who love you will crave your return. Those who fear you will imagine your next move. Either way, you rule them without being there. So don't beg for attention, starve it, withdraw it. Let them earn your reappearance. When you walk away at your peak, you become legend. When you stay too long, you become routine. Master the rhythm of your visibility. Let silence carry your name through the halls. Let absence write your myth. Because the rarest man is the one who's powerful even in his absence. His presence commands, but his absence controls. My absence amplifies my power. Number 7, rule your mind. Command everything. Every form of power begins inside your mind, not in your muscles, not in your wealth, not in your fame, but in the quiet chamber where thought becomes command. Machiavelli wrote, "He who cannot rule himself cannot rule anything." And he was right, because every empire falls the same way, from the inside first. The weak lose before battle begins. They lose in thought, in fear, in hesitation. The strongest man is not the one who controls others. It's the one who controls himself when the world tries to shake him. Your mind is your throne. If you don't sit on it, someone else will. Society will. Fear will. Memory will. Every insecurity you've ever ignored will rise up and start giving orders. That's how most people live, as slaves inside their own heads. They wake up anxious. They scroll for validation. They let opinions decide emotion. And by nightfall, their energy belongs to everyone but themselves. But you're here because you're done being ruled. You're here to reclaim the crown inside your skull. Ruling your mind doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means mastering response. You can't stop the waves, but you can command the tide. Machiavelli knew this. He believed discipline was the armor of thought. That emotion without command was the first step toward self-destruction. He warned, "The mind unguarded becomes a city without walls, and every unguarded mind is open to invasion by fear, by envy, by noise, so build walls, strong ones. Guard what enters your thoughts like a king guards his gates." Not every idea deserves entry. Not every emotion deserves a throne. You decide what stays. You decide what leaves. When a doubt appears, observe it. When fear rises, study it. When anger burns, redirect it. You are the commander now. Train your thoughts like soldiers. Each one must obey. Each one must serve. If a thought weakens you, you kill it. If it strengthens you, you feed it. That's the Machiavellian way. Your mind becomes a disciplined army, not a chaotic mob. Because power is precision. And precision requires silence. The world wants you distracted. It wants you scrolling, comparing, reacting, so you never realize how unstoppable you'd become if you could simply focus. Focus is the rarest form of power left. It separates kings from captives. The focused man moves slower, but everything he touches bends to his will. Every empire begins as a thought. Every downfall begins as distraction. You think chaos is outside you. It's not. It's inside. And until you dominate that inner noise, you'll always be ruled by external storms. Ruling your mind means mastering meaning. Two men lose their jobs. One sees failure, the other sees opportunity. Same event, different interpretation, different destiny. Reality is neutral. Interpretation builds empires or graves. Machiavelli wrote that reason must rule over desire. Desire blinds, reason directs. When emotion screams, reason whispers. And the whisper always wins because it never lies. Detach from the noise. Detach from your need to react. Detach from the urge to be understood. Because when you can observe your own thoughts without becoming them, you reach the highest form of freedom. That's the moment you stop existing as a human being and start existing as a force. You no longer chase peace, you become peace. You no longer crave control, you embody control. You no longer fear chaos, you command it. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, "The wise man lives prepared for everything because he depends on nothing." Depend on nothing, not approval, not comfort, not certainty, because the one who depends on nothing is controlled by nothing. When your mind obeys you, you don't need motivation, you have command. You don't need confidence, you have clarity. You don't need luck, you have discipline. That's when the world changes shape. Not because it got easier, but because you stopped being moved by it. The storms still come, the insults still fly, the betrayals still happen, but none of it matters, because the throne inside you no longer shakes. The untouchable mind isn't emotionless, it's invincible. It feels everything, but serves nothing except purpose. And when you live with that kind of control, you stop trying to win the world and start ruling it. So from this moment forward, don't chase peace, train it. Don't wait for clarity, build it. And when fear whispers, smile. Because fear is just your mind forgetting who's in charge. You are. My mind obeys only me. When you no longer need to be understood. If you've made it here, something inside you has already changed. You've stopped reacting, you've stopped explaining, you've stopped seeking permission to exist. Because you've seen it now. The truth Machiavelli tried to teach centuries ago, that the world doesn't reward kindness, it rewards control. You've learned that your peace isn't given, it's commanded, that silence is a language, that distance is a crown, that composure is a weapon, and that the throne of the mind belongs only to those who can sit still while everything around them burns. Most people live as reflections. They wait to be seen, heard, validated. But the Machiavellian learns to exist without needing to be understood. Because once you no longer crave understanding, you become untouchable. Once you stop defending, you become feared. Once you rule your mind, you rule perception itself. You see, power was never about domination. It was about self-mastery. The ability to command emotion, to direct focus, to stay silent when silence is strength, and to move when action means victory. The world will keep testing you, through rejection, through betrayal, through chaos. But every test will only polish you, sharpen you, harden you, until one day you'll realize you don't need to fight anymore. You are the fight. You are the strategy. You are the storm they can't predict. Machiavelli once wrote, "The one who conquers himself is greater than the one who conquers kingdoms." That's who you've become. A ruler without an army, a conqueror without war, a mind so still that even chaos kneels before it. From now on, when they doubt you, don't explain. When they provoke you, don't react. When they betray you, don't fall. Just stand still, because stillness terrifies the weak. You've crossed the line between reaction and rule. You've ascended beyond emotion. You've entered the realm of strategy. And now, the world will never touch you again. From today, I rule my mind. Drop this in the comments if you've reached the next level. Like this video to anchor your transformation. Share it to awaken someone still living on autopilot. Subscribe, because the next lesson will take you deeper into the art of control.